Hey team, if you want to learn how to invest in crypto and earn money while you sleep, just like I do, then watch on. Because in this Terra Ecosystem challenge, I'm giving away all my tips and tricks when I invest $10,000 of my own money and I show you exactly how and where I do it, so you can generate awesome returns for yourself. If that sounds good to you, then smash that like button and let's get into it. Okay guys, before we get stuck into things, just a quick disclaimer, none of this is financial advice. It's purely for informational and educational purposes. All of the purchases that I made were done on Tuesday, the 22nd of March, and I'll document all the buy prices towards the end of this video. So with that in mind, let's dive in. Okay, so not surprising, the very first thing I went and did is I bought some Luna. And in these videos, I'm going to be using the Leap wallet, which is a new DeFi wallet that's come out. I'm trying to get away from Terra Station because I just want to try new things, and I believe that this Leap wallet is going to build out a lot more functionality than the Terra Station wallet over time. And I'm also going to be tracking my portfolio using Apeboard Finance, really handy website. And as you can see, my Luna's already gone up a little bit in value just in the last few minutes since I bought it, which is nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to swap my Luna for B Luna and get a slight arbitrage on that. So let's do that. Now B Luna is the staked Luna, which you need as collateral in Anchor. So you probably know what comes next. Once that transaction goes through, I'm going to jump over to Anchor here. Okay, so I've swapped my Luna for B Luna. Now I'm going to go over to Anchor and deposit it because I want to leverage my Luna to free up some more capital to redeploy elsewhere. So the first thing we're going to do is deposit, provide my B Luna. In it goes. And that opens up a lot of borrowing capacity, which of course you do need to manage, so you need to be careful. And if we go to borrow now, we'll be able to see how much I can get. So I might borrow a little bit less. Let's make it $6,000. Nice round number. Okay, that's gone through. So now we can see I have a little over $10,000 collateral and I've borrowed $6,000 against it. I need to keep in mind my liquidation risk. So if Luna dumps from $95 to $69, I'll start getting liquidated. So that's a number that I need to keep in mind. Okay, because I'm a Luna bull, I want even more Luna. So I'm going to buy some more Luna with my borrowed money. So I'm going to buy $2,000 worth. So a third of what we've just borrowed, I'm going to use to buy even more Luna. Okay, that's gone through. So now I'm going to perform the same arbitrage I just did on half of that amount. And let's go with a little over half of what I have there. Slight arbitrage. Now I'm going to redeposit that B Luna back into Anchor. So essentially I've looped it, which is a reasonably risky thing to do if you do it too much, because if the price falls on Luna, it basically cascades on you really quickly and you don't have any spare liquid Luna to pay down your position. So I've only done that with a little over $1,000 worth of Luna. So you can see that's going to bring down my LTV slightly as well. It gets me down to 66%. And we'll see what dollar amount that brings my liquidation amount down to. It was $69 from memory. Okay, it's brought me back down to $63. So that's looking pretty safe. Right now, the current price is $94. So that's a big decline that has to happen before we're in risk of liquidation. Now I've still got 10 Luna left, so I'm going to do that arb again. It's only a small arb, but I'm getting a little bit more Luna here. 1.2 Luna. The reason I'm doing this is I wanted to show you the arbitrage strategy. So you pick up a little bit more Luna, and what you can do repeatedly, and I plan to do this every month, is mint it back into Luna from B Luna, which basically is part of the unbonding, unstaking period in Anchor. So let's go back to Anchor. Over to B asset, Luna and B Luna mint and burn. And we're going to burn the B Luna that I just purchased with my 10 Luna. And essentially this becomes profit, pure profit. The only thing is there's basically a 24-day, up to 24-day opportunity cost where you're not getting those staking rewards, but that's essentially it. So if I did an instant burn, it's going to dock me. And I'm actually going to lose money. So we don't want to do that. We're going to do the normal burn, which is the unbonding, unstaking period. And we'll pick up a little bit more Luna for nothing. That's one strategy. Now we've got $4,000 left to play with. I could come in and borrow some more if I really felt risky. Maybe over time, as the Luna price appreciates, I might consider that. You can see I have a little bit more collateral value now because we've redeposited some of the borrowed B Luna. And that has lowered our LTV, our loan to value ratio. Before I continue, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hi, I'm Jerry, host of the Lunar Orbit podcast, where I provide regular alpha and updates on all things Terra Luna. And if you enjoy this content, consider supporting the channel by smashing that like button, hitting subscribe, and hitting the notifications bell so you get all my videos in a timely fashion. Okay, so I have $4,000 left to spend, and I still don't have enough Luna. So I'm going to buy another $1,000 worth of Luna. And then I'm going to come across to the Prism protocol, buy $1,000 worth of Prism. I'm now going to stake my Prism into XPrism. Now that I've purchased my Prism and deposited it into XPrism, into governance, I'm going to pledge it into the AMPS vault, which boosts my returns. So let's pledge our full amount. And finally, I'm going to refract my Luna, the $1,000 worth of Luna that I bought. Now my plan is to refract my Luna into P Luna and Y Luna and start farming the Prism token with the Y Luna token. But before I do that, I'm going to see if there's an arbitrage between Luna and C Luna. There isn't. Okay, so it's better for me to just get my Luna and to deposit it so I can refract rather than buying C Luna. So we'll come back to refract. We're going to split it into the P Luna and Y Luna parts. I'm going to use this Y Luna part to start farming the Prism token. Okay, we have now refracted our Luna into two parts, the P Luna token and the Y Luna token. Now there's not much you can do with the P Luna token yet, but there's certainly a lot you can do with the Y Luna token. So if we go to stake here, we can start farming the Prism token at 40%. So we're getting 40% yield off our Luna essentially. I'm going to stake my Y Luna. And every few days over the month, I'm going to come in here and activate our AMPS boost. Once our AMPS starts to accrue, that'll boost the yield that we get. This is the yield from the base pool. And then this will be the additional yield we get by being in the AMPS pool. Okay, I've still got $2,000 left to invest, so I would like to provide a bit of liquidity onto Astroport and start farming some of its rewards. And I quite like the look of the PSI and ETH pool. It gives me exposure to PSI token, which I think has some upside potential. And also staked Ethereum, which obviously is nice for diversification purposes. And with the merge coming up later in the year, it's probably a good bet as well. We also get additional Astro rewards on this pool, so it'd be nice to farm some of that token while we're at it. So unfortunately, we can't just straight deposit UST. It'd be really lovely if they added that feature. We need to actually come and buy these tokens in equal measure. So we're going to buy $500 worth of PSI and $500 worth of NETH. Okay, that's gone through. Now we can provide the liquidity to the pool. So there's two pools available to us here. There's the PSI UST, but we want the PSI NETH. So we come along and add liquidity under the pool tab. We're going to go max. Should balance it out. And I've got just enough to do it. We can see that it's staked here because we've got this unstake tab. And there's my liquidity. Okay, so we've still got $1,000 left to go. And this time I do want to buy a couple of altcoins and simply hold them in my wallet. The two tokens I'm keen on is Apollo. So we'll buy $500 worth of that. And finally, I'd like to buy some of the Astro token itself. Both Apollo and Astro have some staking coming up, governance staking, and it's going to follow the Curve VE model. So I think that might be a good opportunity to lock up those tokens for a longer period of time and get extra rewards. Okay, let's go back to Apeboard and have a look at our portfolio. So our net worth is $10,000 still. because we deposited $10,000. We have $16,000 worth of assets, but we borrowed $6,000. So at the moment, all things being equal, we're no further in front or behind, but we have access to a bunch of different assets here by leveraging our Luna position. So we bought $500 worth of Apollo, $500 in Astro. We bought $1,000 of Luna and refracted it into the Prism protocol, which we can see here. We also bought $1,000 worth of Prism and staked it and pledged it in the Amps vault. And we're also farming Nexus in the Astroport pool by providing liquidity to PSI and NETH. So I should mention that today is Tuesday, the 22nd of March. So we'll come back around the same time in April and see where we're at. All right, guys, thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and maybe consider watching one of my other videos.